Mom, I want a vape.
You guys all know how I feel about Tommy Robinson, Britain's favourite fascist football thug. Someone who just represents the racism that fills the football terraces and has since black players started playing here in the 1970s. Well, he got sent to prison, of course, for contempt of court, which could have got a trial thrown out for paedophiles, people he said he absolutely wants to put away. That's what his whole crusade's about. But he nearly got them all freed for ruining their trial. That doesn't sound like someone who cares so much about the issues, more like someone who has a massive ego and cares about their own fame and wants to seem like a martyr. Now, he is just released from prison and he's really playing into this whole martyr stuff, so I'm going to get into what he looks like now and why he's doing this. Someone has done some really good analysis on Twitter of his whole new look. So the Metro reporting, Tommy Robinson says Salam alaikum as he's freed from prison with a totally new look. And just look at him, he's got long hair, he's got a beard. I wonder what he's trying to look like. So Richard Hartley Parkinson reporting, far-right extremist Tommy Robinson has been freed from prison where he was serving a sentence for contempt of court. Robinson, whose real name is Stephen Yaxley Lennon, emerged with a shaggy beard and long hair after being released from Belmarsh this morning. Talking about his new ginger beard, he said, "I look like a little cowardly convert. Salam alaikum, which is Arabic for peace be upon you." He revealed that he was visited by an imam every day, but it took 16 days for a Christian to visit him. And here's some more photos. Oh look, everyone's favourite fascist is getting a nice cheeseburger from McDonald's. I'm so happy for him. So happy for him, you stupid fascist piece of shit. So he goes on to say he was released after serving 9 weeks after a court imposed a 9-month jail term following the incident outside Leeds Crown Court. So a woman called Alicia on Twitter, who's quite prominent in left-wing circles, really exposed what Robinson is doing here, and I really like it. I just want to show all of you what she's saying. So she tweeted about Robinson's new look, the hair, the beard, speaking Arabic, all this good stuff, and she said, Robinson knows exactly what he's doing here. He's spent ages making people believe that UK prisons are infiltrated with Muslims who forcefully convert non-Muslim prisoners. Him not shaving his beard and greeting in Arabic is him trying to reinforce that. Whilst people might find it funny that Tommy Robinson said Salam alaikum, you have to recognise he's doing it to fit his great replacement white supremacist narrative. It's serious and uncanny. He purposely chose not to shave or cut his hair to fit the white convert appearance. He even says this when released, "I look like a convert." It's not funny. He's going to use this to his absolute advantage now that he's released, so he can indoctrinate more people with the great replacement white supremacist narrative. And whilst you lot are bantering about this new look on his timeline, but please recognise the seriousness of what he's trying to do here, that's all. Just an addition, if anyone's read the article, they can already see this. He mentions it took him 16 days to be visited by a Christian, and that he was visited by an imam every day. He's going to absolutely throw this faux victim of Muslims narrative out when he gets a minute. So this is why I like being in leftist circles. You get such a diversity of voices, and of course I'm not a Muslim, so my mind didn't immediately think this sort of way, and I'm really glad Alicia brought it up because now you can see it for what it is. That is totally what he's going to do. And the point about the imam is telling. It's like, I wanted to see someone spiritual, but of course in this prison, they only have imams, they don't have priests. And I had to wait so long to see a priest, I just had the imam every day. Which, to be honest, I wouldn't really, I'm not religious, so I wouldn't really care who visited me. But at the same time, at least someone's visiting you. But yeah, he totally wants to play into this whole narrative that he's being forced to look like this, and this is what Britain is becoming. Because Tommy Robinson likes to scaremonger about this all the time. And if you don't know what the Great Replacement is, it's basically that non-white communities, but especially Muslim ones, are going to outbreed white populations. So one day, there will be more Muslims in the UK, in Europe, and then they will take over our government and implement Sharia law. Now, if you think this is incredibly racist and just generally wrong, you'd be right, because it really buys into a load of stereotypes and lots of myths of stuff that won't happen. For example, even if there were more Muslims in the UK than Christians, how do Muslims suddenly take over everything? And if Muslims take over everything, why are we living under Sharia law? I don't understand this. Since when are all Muslim people like ISIS? This is what it sort of believes in. So even if we had a Muslim majority government, doesn't mean they're all going to follow Sharia law. We have a Christian majority government at the moment. Are we all following some fundamentalist Christian law? No. So why would it be any different with Muslims. Of course there are Muslim fundamentalists, of course there are Christian fundamentalists, and of course I'm not as naive to think that there isn't a massive fundamentalist strain of Islam. I've talked about this in numerous videos about, you know, generalizations people make about Muslims, but where there are some truths is that you can say stuff like, for example, most Muslim majority countries aren't tolerant of LGBT community, aren't tolerant of atheists is a big one as well, and they have various degrees of tolerance towards women's rights. And it's not controversial to say most, if not all, Muslim countries have some problems with these things. And of course it varies, that's where the nuance is lost. Of course, Saudi Arabia is not the same as Morocco. It's not the same as Egypt. They're all very different, but there is a general intolerance, at the very least, for atheism and the LGBT community, and there is an underlying sexism against women and in terms of what they can wear, and it is better in different places. But of course, I'm just talking about the Islamic world in general. In Britain, we have a lot of Muslims and a massive Muslim community who are just normal people, and it gets lost on people like Tommy Robinson. Sadiq Khan doesn't want Sharia law. People like Ilhan Omar in America don't want that. They're just people who have their faith and they have their own beliefs, and they've made that compatible. And as an atheist, I think Abrahamic religion is not compatible with real social values, but if you can find something in there and you can live with yourself and live with that, for example, people like to say Jesus was a socialist. Okay, fine, that's better than the Old Testament God. If you want to work with that, that's great. I'd rather you do that than believe in all the awful stuff. The same with Muslims. If you can find something in the Quran which is like that, instead of Muhammad being a conquering warlord, then I'm all for it, and I'm happy for you to do that. And I'm sure, like a lot of people, you know, I was raised Catholic. Most people I know who are Catholic don't really believe in it. They just say they are because that's what they're raised in. I'm sure there are tons of Muslims in the UK who are exactly the same as that. Not that this whole Great Replacement thing really needs a thorough debunking, but people get so swept up in it. And Tommy Robinson, with his little stunt here, is obviously preying on the idiocy of many people in this country that think we're going to be taken over by Sharia law. Newsflash, that is never going to happen. The Great Replacement, white genocide, all this garbage, it's just not happening. So anyway, if you like the video, please leave a like, maybe subscribe to the channel. If you want to check me out on social media, follow me at The Cavanacle on Twitter and Instagram. If you want to check out my Patreon, please look in the description, and thanks to all my patrons. And if you made it this far, thank you for watching.